Your continuing pain is not proof that God has left you. My child, I know the nights when sleep breaks because discomfort has returned. I know the private tears, the questions you cannot settle, and the effort it takes to appear calm while fear moves quietly beneath the surface. I know how the body can ache while the spirit grows tired, how physical suffering and emotional exhaustion can become one heavy burden, and how easily endurance can begin to feel like rejection. But hear this clearly: pain is not reliable evidence of God's distance. The fact that relief has not yet come does not mean His presence has withdrawn. This message will not ask you to deny what hurts. It will not blame your weariness on weak faith. It will not announce a timetable or promise that every symptom will disappear in a particular way or moment. We will bring the truth into the pain without pretending, and we will bring the pain into prayer without trying to control the outcome. Psalm 34 will show us what God's nearness means for the brokenhearted. Isaiah 40 will show us what His strength provides when our own strength is failing. Then we will pray specifically first for the hurting body and then for the exhausted spirit carrying fear around it. Stay through that final prayer, and if Scripture-rooted encouragement helps you remain anchored, subscribe and share this message with one hurting person who may need this sacred interruption. Because the deepest question is not whether the pain is real, it is this: if the pain remains, what does God actually promise to be, and what does He promise to provide? Psalm 34 answers the question of God's location with a promise. He is near to the brokenhearted, attentive to those whose spirits have been crushed. Notice where the promise begins. It does not begin after the heart has recovered, after the tears have ended, or after the body has shown improvement. It begins in the wounded place. Brokenheartedness is not evidence that you have failed spiritually. Feeling depleted does not place you outside God's care. Scripture does not shame the crushed spirit for being crushed. It reveals that God approaches the person who can no longer carry suffering as though it were light. You may not feel that nearness today. The ache may be louder than comfort. Uncertainty may occupy so much of your attention that God seems distant. Those feelings are real, and they do not need to be rebuked or concealed, but they are not the final authority on where God is. My child, hear the assurance Psalm 34 gives. God's presence is not waiting on your improvement. His nearness is promised amid brokenness, not awarded after you escape it. That nearness does not have to be proved by an immediate physical change. You may receive it as you pray honestly, as Scripture steadies your thoughts, as wise care helps you endure, as another person sits beside you, or as strength arrives only for the next hour. None of these is a test of your faith, and none forces a particular outcome. They are grounded ways of recognizing that unresolved suffering and divine presence can occupy the same moment. So return to the truth with deeper understanding. Pain may describe your present experience, but pain cannot, by itself, define God's location. And now this promise must come closer to the place you keep monitoring, the sensation that draws your attention, the part of your body where fear has gathered most intensely. I know the recurring ache, the pressure that makes you pause, the weakness that changes how you move through the day. I know the exhaustion after disrupted sleep, and the reflex to check again. Has the sensation shifted? Is it stronger, quieter, different? Persistent pain can turn the body into a watchtower, always scanning, always waiting for another warning. Perhaps your concern rests near the heart or lungs, the blood or bones, the nerves, organs, or cells. These words are not a diagnosis, and they are not a prediction. They are a prayer catalog, a way of saying that no visible symptom and no hidden place lies beyond God's attention. He is near through appointments and treatments, through reports that bring clarity and answers that remain uncertain. He sees the fatigue of explaining the same pain again, trying to describe what changes and what does not. Yet, His nearness does not require you to manufacture a testimony or announce a medical outcome you have not received. My child, separate what you feel now from the frightening future your mind may build around it. The sensation is real. The worst conclusion is not therefore certain. Uncertainty may become leverage the enemy tries to use for fear and discouragement, but that does not mean the enemy caused your illness, and it does not make despair a trustworthy interpreter of your future. Fear is under God's authority. Despair is under His authority. The conclusion that you have been abandoned is answerable to the promise of Psalm 34. But we will not claim that a disease has disappeared when we do not know that it has. We will not call responsible treatment unbelief. Do not stop care, ignore worsening symptoms, or refuse appropriate help in order to prove faith. Bold prayer and wise attention can remain together. God can be addressed about every painful place without prayer becoming a forecast. And now, beneath all this watching, another question rises. What has constant vigilance been doing quietly to your inner life? I know how carefully you compose yourself before anyone asks how you are. You choose words that will not alarm them. You offer a steady answer while privately wondering how much longer you can keep enduring. Sometimes, the effort to look strong becomes another weight you must carry. I know the fear of worse news and the frustration of living in a body that no longer follows familiar rhythms. I know the sadness of routines surrendered, plans interrupted, and ordinary freedoms missed. I know why you hesitate to tell others everything. You do not want to become a burden, repeat what cannot yet be resolved, or watch concern fill another face. Yet when the night becomes quiet, that restraint can leave you feeling profoundly alone. I know what has happened to prayer as well. Requests once spoken with energy may now come shorter and softer. Some prayers carry anger, some carry numbness. Some are only tears, a sigh, or silence before God because you cannot find another sentence. Hear this with tenderness. Exhaustion is not spiritual rejection. Tears are not a confession of unbelief. Questions do not remove you from God's care, and the inability to sound confident does not prove that your faith has failed. Psalm 34 does not demand a brave performance from the brokenhearted. It announces nearness to them. You do not have to conceal your weariness from God, and you do not always have to conceal it from people. One trusted person who listens, prays, accompanies you, or helps you carry one difficult hour may become a human expression of that promised nearness. Receiving support does not replace prayer. It may be one way care reaches you. So let the honest confession rise beneath the pain, without polish and without shame. I do not only need an answer, I need strength to continue. And that need leads us to Isaiah 40, to the God who does not grow weary when you do. Isaiah 40 meets that confession by drawing a clear contrast. Human strength reaches its limit, but God's strength is never depleted. We become tired. We lose focus. Even willing hearts discover that determination cannot carry everything. Yet the one we depend upon does not run out of attention, patience, or power. The chapter speaks of rising, running, and walking. These are not competing levels of faith. Some days renewed strength feels like rising beyond what once held you down. Some days it feels like continuing through a demanding stretch. And some days it is simply walking slowly, carefully, faithfully. Do not despise that pace. Walking with God through pain is not inferior to moving quickly after relief. Waiting, then, is not pretending the pain is absent. It is remaining turned toward God while the answer is unresolved. It can include continuing to pray, allowing the body to rest, seeking wise care, receiving support, and doing the next necessary thing without demanding that today reveal the entire future. My child, hear the truth. Isaiah 40 places beneath your weariness. I do not tire as you tire. When your strength is spent, mine is not diminished. This is a devotional echo of Scripture's promise, not a new prediction about your circumstances. God may provide courage for an appointment, honesty for a difficult conversation, enough peace to rest, or grace to complete one responsibility. These provisions matter. They are not small because they do not solve everything at once. Renewed strength may coexist with continuing symptoms. It must not be treated as hidden proof that a cure has already begun, nor used to set a deadline God has not given. Strength is not control over timing. It is help for faithful endurance within time. Fear demands the whole future now, every answer, every outcome, every assurance. God's sustaining grace meets you here with provision for the present step. Today's strength is enough for today's obedience. But this leaves an honest tension before us. If relief has not appeared, how do you keep asking boldly for healing without pretending, losing hope, or trying to control the answer? We cannot answer every why. Scripture does not tell us why this pain was permitted, why relief has been delayed, or why one path unfolds differently from another. Faith does not require us to fill that silence with a simple explanation. Mystery is difficult, but invented certainty will not make it safer. So refuse the conclusions that suffering tries to press upon you. God's silence does not mean He is absent. Delayed relief does not prove that your faith has failed, and present pain does not possess the authority to write your entire future. Psalm 34 still speaks of nearness. Isaiah 40 still speaks of strength. Neither promise requires you to misname what is happening now. Pray then with both hands open. With one, ask plainly, God, bring healing. Lessen this pain. Restore what is weak. Guide every form of care. Let relief come. With the other, ask, until the answer becomes clear. Give me strength, wisdom, comfort, and help. Keep me near when waiting feels long. These requests do not cancel each other. Together they form a hope that desires change without demanding control. You may lament while you trust. You may say, "This hurts, I am tired, and I do not understand," while still turning toward God. Honesty is not faith's enemy, nor must an emotional moment be treated as evidence that physical healing has secretly begun. Hope can be real without becoming a medical claim. Perseverance is not uninterrupted confidence. It is the repeated return, returning after disappointment, returning when words are few, returning when yesterday's courage has faded. Faith may tremble and still come back. For now, practice only this. Speak one truth. God is near to the brokenhearted, and He gives strength to the weary. Make one honest request for what you need. Then take one wise step of care or connection available to you. Explanation has now reached its proper limit. We have spoken about nearness, strength, waiting, and asking. Now bring your attention gently to the place that hurts. Let the message become prayer, and let us place the body itself under God's care. My child, you do not need perfect words now. Bring God the place that hurts. If it is comfortable, rest your hand near that place, not as a test, not as proof, but as a simple act of attention. If touch increases discomfort, let your hands remain where they are, and breathe slowly. God does not require a posture your body cannot bear. God of mercy, we bring this hurting body before you. You know what can be described and what remains difficult to name. Please bring healing. Lessen the pain, calm the distress. Restore what has been weakened, and grant restorative sleep where suffering has interrupted rest. Give wisdom for every decision, clarity for each next step, and steadiness to those providing care. Let treatment be guided wisely, and let support arrive where it is needed. We place before you the heart and lungs, the blood and bones, the nerves, organs, and cells. We do not name a disease where none has been identified, and we do not declare an outcome we cannot yet see. We simply place every known and hidden concern beneath your knowledge and within your care. Be merciful to those whose pain is undiagnosed, chronic or intermittent, those carrying discomfort related to treatment, and those whose physical suffering feels sharper when emotion is strained. You know each experience without confusion. Meet each person without blame. Fear does not have final authority here. Despair does not own this body. Pain may demand attention, but it does not possess the right to define this life or determine God's nearness. We ask boldly for bodily help while leaving the form and timing of the answer with you. Now, in this brief quiet, name your need before God. You may speak the painful place, the relief you desire, or simply say, "Lord, have mercy on me." God, receive what has been spoken and what could not be spoken. We entrust to you what is understood, what remains uncertain, what can be treated, and what must still be investigated. Keep this body within wise care and sustaining grace. And as this prayer settles over the painful place, we recognize another burden still waiting to be brought near, the fear, grief, and loneliness the body has been carrying into the spirit. God of mercy, we bring you what suffering has gathered around the pain, fear that it will worsen, fear of an unwanted report, fear of a future that cannot yet be seen. We bring the quiet dread of becoming a burden and the grief of looking at a changed life and scarcely recognizing what once felt familiar. Come near to the one who feels numb. Come near to the one who is disappointed with you and does not know how to say it. Come near to the person ashamed that prayer has become weak, scattered, or silent. No one here must manufacture strong words to earn your attention. Psalm 34 assures us that the brokenhearted are not beyond your reach. Let that nearness enter the places pain has made lonely. Comfort the frightened heart. Quiet the inner alarm that keeps anticipating what has not happened. Protect this weary spirit from despair and from fear's attempt to define the future. We do not call suffering a spiritual defeat, and we do not pretend that distress disappears because it has been named. We ask instead that fear be denied the authority to tell this person who they are, where you are, or what every tomorrow must become. Give courage to seek support without shame. Make room for honest words with someone safe. Where isolation has deepened exhaustion, provide companionship. Where disappointment has made prayer difficult, receive even the smallest turning toward you. And God, who does not grow weary, provide the strength Isaiah 40 teaches us to expect from you. This listener does not have to produce divine strength from depleted personal reserves. Give what is needed for the next faithful act. Enough steadiness to ask for help, enough clarity to make one wise choice, enough courage to continue, enough rest to stop striving for this moment. My child, release one hidden fear now. Name it simply before God, then receive this truth. Pain is present, but abandonment is not the only interpretation. God is near to the brokenhearted, and His strength remains available to the weary even when the physical outcome is still unresolved. Let that truth become your answer to isolation and your resistance to despair. As this prayer closes, ask yourself gently, what scripture-shaped truth will I carry into the next hour? Carry this into the next hour. Continuing pain is not proof that God has abandoned you. Psalm 34 gives you nearness in the wounded place. Isaiah 40 gives you strength when your own strength is exhausted. Neither promise depends upon immediate relief, and neither asks you to deny what your body is experiencing. You can ask boldly for healing without claiming a result that has not occurred. You can desire change, continue wise care, and leave the timing and form of the answer with God. Honest prayer is not prediction. Trust is not pretending. So, let today's faith be simple. Hold one scripture-shaped truth. Offer one honest prayer, even if it is only a sentence. Then take one wise step toward care, rest, or trusted support. You do not need to solve the future before you take that step. You need only receive the help available for today. May God bring healing and relief according to His mercy. May His nearness comfort every wounded heart. May He give wisdom for decisions, clarity in uncertainty, protection from despair, and strength for what comes next. May you be supported when the burden feels heavy and sustained when your words are few. If you want to mark this moment right, God is near me in this pain, and I will receive His strength for today. You may also share the truth from Psalm 34 or Isaiah 40 that you are choosing to believe, a brief prayer you will keep offering, or the practical step you will take. If someone you know is hurting, gently share this prayer with them, and subscribe if you would like continued, scripture-centered encouragement. My child, the outcome may still be unresolved, but you are not required to face this hour alone. Receive nearness. Ask honestly. Take the next strengthened step. Even the next faithful breath can be taken with God.